All right. I think it started. On my test recording, it was a few seconds delayed. All right. I think it's time. I've been procrastinating it for a long time. I've been pretty comfortable with Angular, and I've been learning not a lot of other stuff, but I have paid attention to other things, and I've learned a little bit about what they are, and I've kind of watched the ecosystem of JavaScript, and I just haven't ever felt the need to actually learn React until now. I just feel like it's time. It's been a long time. I've been an Angular developer, the new Angular, since 2017, basically as soon as I could. And I've worked at a couple companies just coding the new Angular. And where I live in Utah, there's still plenty of Angular jobs. It's like there's even slightly more Angular jobs than React jobs, I think. And so pretty much since I already knew it, might as well just apply for another job in Angular. So it's time though. It's time to learn React. It's time to see what's over there in that other place, that other community. What is that world that I'm missing? So I'm going to learn React and let you watch if there's anyone who cares about that. So I taught myself programming while I was a physics student at BYU, and I taught myself because I wanted to build a project. It was an educational website, but the way that I learned was just by it got more nuanced the longer the more advanced I got. But basically, the reason I was learning it was to create the project. So it's very project focused, and that's kind of how I would like to do this as well. I don't know what's relevant in React. I don't know what I'll need, because what's defined as relevant is what I use in a real project. And so I'm going to actually build a real project, not a fake project, and it's going to hopefully be a great way to learn React. And so what I'm going to do is just talk about what my current knowledge of React is, and where I plan on going in the future with these, what kind of projects I'm thinking about doing. But so I've watched a few React talks from different conferences. I have learned some basics just over time. I know a lot of ideas in the Angular community have come from the React community. I'm pretty strong with Redux, because Angular has NGRX, but I'm familiar with the Redux library itself because I actually pulled it into an AngularJS app, that's Angular 1, back in 2017, and so that was awesome. That was fun. And so I'm pretty comfortable with Redux, and the overall concepts of React, and pretty much all modern frameworks are component based. So I've also gone to a couple meetups where they talked about some things with React. I learned about React hooks. I really like how within a component you've got logic that deals with a single piece of state altogether with hooks. So that's pretty great. I have learned about suspense a little bit. I've learned a lot about GraphQL. It's not a React thing, but it tends to be used with React, I think, more than Angular, unfortunately. And unfortunately for Angular. I'm happy for React. But yeah, what else do I know? I don't know. I don't really know much else. Those are the main things I know. I haven't actually done anything with React yet. I've done a tiny bit of experimentation maybe, but I don't remember anything from it. I know that JSX is weird. I don't know much about it. I do know that you have to type class name instead of class for CSS classes. Yeah, and I love functional programming. I love the idea of moving away from classes, and that is one of the reasons actually that I want to learn React. I'm curious to see how functional it is, how much functional programming is kind of the norm in the React community. I don't know. There's so many things I want to learn about React, and so I will. Obviously, I have an open mind. It's not like I've hated React. The one thing that I've never really liked, there are two things that I haven't really liked much about React. The first one is JSX. It's disgusting. Like, when you look at it, it's like, no, oh my gosh. This reminds me when I was teaching myself programming, and I had these multi-line HTML strings. It was ugly in JavaScript. Like, it was horrible. And the reason it was ugly is because I had my view logic mixed with my like view control logic. Like, I was imperatively making things happen at like a data level, and then part of that was templates being thrown around. And JSX just reminded me of that. But I think that, like everyone else, I'll be able to get over that gag reflex pretty fast. So I'm not really worried about that. The other thing was, I feel like because people overemphasize, or just the fact that the nature of React is just, it's a view layer, people like to use React for things that aren't view concerns. So there's a lot of app logic that I'm not sure belongs in the view, but I think I've seen people put a lot of app logic in components when, for some reason, why do you want a template representation of that app logic? I don't understand. So those are two concerns I've had. Anything else? I've also wished that there was more usage of RxJS. The thing before was TypeScript. I really like TypeScript. I was going to be against it in 2017, but I started using it. I'm like, okay, this saves me a lot of time. So duh. I taught myself JavaScript. I read a book about Java before that, and seeing TypeScript, I was like, no, you don't need this. But then I started coding in it, and I'm like, this is amazing. This is amazing. I'm so glad, like, in a real project, this like saves your neck so many times. And so I'm glad that it's becoming popular in the React community. So that's not a question anymore. It's not a barrier. The other thing was RxJS. Yeah, I really like RxJS a lot. But I think there might be less of a need for it in React than Angular. Who knows? We'll see. That's the other thing. I have no idea. So I'm excited to learn that. So what I've done already is I have taken a look. Sorry, that's really bright. I've taken a look at different component libraries to use in React, and there's a ton. Didn't realize there were even more than in Angular, but The one that I narrowed down to was Semantic UI. I don't know anything about it, except that generally it looks pretty good. It looks kind of like the style that I want for the project that I have in mind. And also I looked at the API for the components, and they seemed pretty good. I don't have much to judge. I don't have much to base that judgment off of, but we'll just see. We'll just see what happens. So, yeah. So what I'm going to do from here, next time I do this, I'm probably going to do a little bit of thinking between now and then, but I'm going to describe the project that I want to build, and I'm going to get started on the project. It's going to be project focused, so I do not want to make this boring or basic. I want to show myself talking through problems and how I might solve them and react when I've completely been basically submerged in the Angular world for this whole time. Basically 2014 I learned AngularJS. 2016, 2017 it became Angular and was ready for the new version for people to use it, and I've been just doing Angular this whole time. I actually spoke at NGConf too. I got the NGConf jacket. I've got the pen that I've been messing with. I'm like completely in Angular. I worked for Aaron Frost at Hero Devs, where and Frosty, he's the guy that organizes NGConf, and I love Angular. I don't have anything against Angular, any more than I expect any library will have. There are just trade-offs with all of them, but I think that it would be fun, at least for myself, to document, even if nobody watches these. I want to document this process because I think it'll be fun. So, this logo looks a lot like the Atom Text Editor logo. All right, that's pretty cool. Anyway, so next time I will just get started on a project, and yeah, so if you're on YouTube, so I'm streaming this to Twitch, and I'm also saving it and then uploading it to YouTube. If no one watches on Twitch, I'm just gonna start uploading them or live streaming them on YouTube instead. But yeah, we'll see how this goes. It's the first time I've ever streamed anything, so yeah, any kind of feedback, I'm open to it. Any kind of advice, I'm open for anything. So, all right, I'm going to go ahead and end this. Thank you for watching.